Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to lose their peace, no matter how much chaos surrounds them? They don't argue with everyone who disagrees with them. They don't chase attention. They don't waste their energy trying to prove their worth. While everyone else is reacting, they're quietly observing, and somehow they always seem to stay in control. Most people think this kind of calm is something you're born with. But the truth is, it comes from one silent habit that very few people understand. The Sigma mindset isn't about being cold, arrogant, or antisocial. It's about knowing where your energy belongs and refusing to give it away to people or situations that don't deserve it. Sigma men understand that every unnecessary argument, every toxic relationship, and every emotional reaction has a price. The more you react to everything, the less control you have over your own life. Think about it. How many times have you let one person's opinion ruin your entire day? How many nights have you replayed a conversation in your head, wishing you had said something different? How much energy have you wasted trying to explain yourself to people who had already decided not to understand you? The strongest people don't protect their peace by changing the world around them. They protect it by changing the way they respond to the world. And that's exactly what makes them different. In today's video, we're going to uncover asterisk the silent habit that protects a Sigma's peace. A habit so simple that most people overlook it, yet so powerful that it can completely change the way you handle criticism, conflict, stress, and even toxic people. Make sure you stay until the end, because the final insight may completely change the way you think about silence and inner strength. And if you're passionate about psychology, the Sigma mindset, and becoming mentally stronger every day, asterisk subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week, we share powerful ideas that help you build confidence, master your emotions, and develop the mindset of someone who stays calm while everyone else loses control. Now, let's discover the silent habit that quietly protects a Sigma's peace. They pause before they react. One of the most powerful habits that protects a Sigma's peace is something so simple that most people completely overlook it. They pause before they react. While others allow emotions to control their words and actions, Sigma men understand that a single emotional reaction can create problems that last for days, months, or even years. That's why they never feel pressured to respond immediately. When someone insults them, criticizes us, or tries to provoke them, they don't rush to defend themselves. Instead, they take a step back and observe the situation. They know that people who are looking for a reaction often lose their power the moment they don't get one. Silence becomes a shield that protects their emotions from being controlled by someone else's behavior. This habit also gives them something extremely valuable: clarity. Strong emotions can cloud judgment, making even intelligent people say things they later regret. By pausing, Sigma men give themselves time to separate facts from emotions. They ask themselves, asterisk, is this really worth my energy? More often than not, the answer is no. Another reason this habit is so effective is that it prevents unnecessary conflict. Many arguments grow out of impulsive reactions rather than real problems. A single moment of patience can stop a disagreement before it becomes a battle. Sigma men understand that protecting their peace is more important than proving a point. This doesn't mean they avoid every confrontation. When something truly matters, they speak with confidence and purpose. The difference is that their words come from careful thought instead of temporary emotion. In the end, the pause is where their strength begins. While most people react first and think later, Sigma men think first and react only if it's necessary. That small habit gives them something many people spend years searching for: a calm mind, emotional control, and the ability to protect their peace without saying a single unnecessary word. They don't explain themselves to everyone. One of the quietest habits that protects a Sigma's peace is knowing when not to explain themselves. Most people feel the need to justify every decision they make. If they change careers, they explain why. If they spend time alone, they explain why. If they say no to something, they immediately begin defending their choice. Sigma men don't feel that pressure. They understand that not everyone is looking for understanding. Some people ask questions because they're genuinely curious, while others ask questions simply to criticize, judge, or argue. A Sigma man knows the difference. Instead of wasting his energy trying to convince people who have already made up their minds, he accepts that being misunderstood is sometimes part of life. This habit protects his peace because he doesn't allow other people's opinions to control his emotions. He knows that no explanation will satisfy someone who has already chosen to misunderstand him. Rather than entering endless debates, he lets his decisions speak for themselves. This doesn't mean he's secretive or dishonest. When someone he trusts deserves an explanation, he communicates openly and respectfully. The difference is that he no longer feels responsible for making everyone approve of his choices. His life isn't a public debate that requires everyone's permission. Over time, this habit builds confidence. The less he depends on outside approval, the more he trusts his own judgment. He stops living according to other people's expectations and starts making decisions based on his own values and long term goals. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: you don't owe everyone an explanation. Some people will never understand your journey because they weren't meant to walk it with you. Sigma men understand that protecting their peace sometimes means allowing people to misunderstand them without feeling the need to correct every opinion. Their confidence comes from knowing who they are, not from convincing everyone else. They observe more than they speak. One of the quiet habits that gives Sigma men an advantage is their ability to observe before they speak. While many people feel the need to fill every silence with words, Sigma men understand that the person who talks the most often learns the least. Instead of rushing to express every opinion, they pay close attention to what is happening around them. When they enter a room, they don't immediately try to become the center of attention. They notice how people interact, how they treat others, and whether their actions match their words. They understand that people often reveal their true character through small details, details that are easy to miss when you're too busy talking. This habit also protects them from unnecessary mistakes. People who speak impulsively often reveal too much, make promises they can't keep, or react emotionally without thinking. Sigma men avoid these traps because they take time to understand the situation before responding. Their silence isn't awkward. It gives them time to think clearly and make wiser decisions. Observation also helps them recognize toxic behavior early. They notice patterns instead of isolated events. They pay attention to consistency rather than empty promises. If someone repeatedly lies, manipulates, or disrespects others, a Sigma man notices long before most people do. That awareness allows him to protect his peace by keeping the right distance. Another benefit of listening more than speaking is that people naturally reveal information when they feel heard. Sigma men don't interrupt or compete for attention. They let others talk, and in doing so, they often learn far more than they ever could by dominating the conversation. In the end, Sigma men understand that wisdom begins with observation. Speaking at the right moment has far more impact than speaking all the while others are busy trying to be heard, they are quietly learning, understanding, and preparing. Sometimes the greatest strength isn't having the loudest voice, it's having the sharpest awareness. They ignore what doesn't deserve their energy. One of the greatest strengths of a Sigma man is knowing that not everything deserves his attention. In today's world, people are constantly surrounded by distractions. Arguments on social media, negative opinions, unnecessary drama, and endless demands for attention. Most people react to all of it without thinking. Sigma Sin choose differently. They understand that attention is a form of energy, and energy is limited. Every minute spent arguing with someone who refuses to listen is a minute that could have been invested in personal growth. Every moment spent worrying about a stranger's opinion is a moment stolen from their own goals. That's why they carefully choose where their focus goes. This doesn't mean they ignore important problems or avoid responsibility. They simply know the difference between a real challenge and meaningless noise. If something helps them grow, they give it their full attention. If it only creates stress without adding value to their lives, they quietly let it go. One of the reasons this habit is so powerful is that it prevents emotional exhaustion. Many people feel mentally drained not because life is too difficult, but because they're carrying problems that were never theirs to begin with. Sigma men refuse to carry unnecessary emotional weight. They don't feel obligated to respond to every criticism, defend themselves against every rumor, or prove their worth to people who have already chosen to misunderstand them. Instead, they redirect that energy toward things they can actually control: their health, their goals, their knowledge, and the people who genuinely matter. This simple habit allows them to stay focused while others become overwhelmed by distractions. At the end of the day, protecting your peace isn't about escaping the world. It's about learning to separate what truly matters from what only steals your attention. Sigma men know that every no they give to unnecessary drama is a yes to a calmer, stronger, and more purposeful life. They stay emotionally unavailable to drama. One of the most powerful ways Sigma men protect their peace is by refusing to become emotionally available to unnecessary drama. They understand that many conflicts aren't really about solving problems. They're about gaining attention, creating emotional reactions, or pulling other people into chaos. Instead of getting caught in that cycle, they choose emotional control over emotional impulse. When someone tries to provoke them, guilt trip them, or start an argument over something insignificant, a Sigma man doesn't immediately react. He recognizes that not every emotional invitation deserves acceptance. Just because someone wants a conflict doesn't mean he has to participate in it. This habit often surprises people. Some mistake it for coldness or indifference, but that's not what's happening. Sigma Sen simply refuse to let someone else's emotions dictate their own. They know that if they allow every angry person, every negative comment, or every dramatic situation to affect them, they'll eventually lose the peace they've worked so hard to build. They also understand that drama is addictive. The more you engage with it, the more it follows you. Gossip leads to more gossip. Arguments lead to more arguments. Negativity attracts more negativity. Sigma men break this cycle by choosing not to feed it. Their silence often ends conflicts faster than any clever response ever could. Instead of focusing on emotional chaos, they invest their energy in things that improve their lives. Learning new skills, staying healthy, working toward their goals, and spending time with people who bring honesty and stability rather than confusion. At the end of the day, emotional strength isn't about winning every argument or proving every point. It's about protecting your inner peace from people who constantly try to disturb it. Sigma men understand that one of the greatest forms of freedom is deciding that someone else's drama will no longer become your problem. That's how they remain calm while the world around them keeps making noise. They let silence become their greatest strength. The most powerful habit that protects a Sigma's peace is something that many people completely misunderstand: silence. In today's world, everyone feels pressured to respond instantly, explain themselves, and defend every opinion. Sigma men choose a different path. They understand that silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of confidence, discipline, and emotional control. When people criticize them, they don't rush to prove them wrong. When they're misunderstood, they don't waste hours trying to change every opinion. They know that some people have already decided what they want to believe, and no amount of explanation will change that. Instead of fighting battles they can't win, they protect their peace by remaining silent and allowing time to reveal the truth. Silence also gives them something incredibly valuable: clarity. While everyone else is reacting emotionally, they're thinking. They observe, analyze, and make decisions based on logic instead of temporary emotions. This ability helps them avoid unnecessary mistakes and keeps them focused on what truly matters. Another reason Sigma men value silence is because it strengthens their presence. People who constantly talk often lose the impact of their words. But someone who speaks only when necessary naturally commands more attention. When a Sigma man finally speaks, people tend to listen because they know his words are thoughtful, intentional, and meaningful. Most importantly, silence protects their inner world. They don't feel the need to share every plan, every success, or every struggle. They understand that not everyone deserves access to their personal life. By keeping certain things private, they reduce unnecessary opinions, expectations, and distractions. In the end, silence becomes more than a habit, it becomes a way of life. It reminds Sigma men that they don't have to react to everything, answer everyone, or prove themselves to anyone. Their peace comes from within, not from the approval of others. And that's why their greatest strength isn't found in the words they speak. It's found in the silence they choose to keep. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people see it as weakness, fear, or a lack of confidence. But as you've seen throughout this video, true silence is something completely different. It's a choice. It's the ability to protect your mind, your emotions, and your energy without needing to prove yourself to anyone. The Sigma mindset isn't about avoiding people or pretending that emotions don't exist. It's about knowing which battles deserve your attention and which ones deserve your silence. Every time you refuse to react to unnecessary drama, stop explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand you, or choose peace over conflict, you're becoming mentally stronger. Remember, protecting your peace doesn't mean life will never challenge you. There will always be criticism, misunderstandings, and people who try to test your patience. The real difference is how you respond. The strongest people aren't the ones who win every argument. They're the ones who never allow those arguments to steal their inner peace. Now, here's a question for you. Asterisk, which of these silent habits do you think is the most powerful, and which one do you need to practice more in your own life? Share your answer in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and your perspective might inspire someone else who is learning to protect their own peace. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to asterisk subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week, we explore psychology, the Sigma mindset, emotional intelligence, and powerful habits that help you build confidence, master your emotions, and become the strongest version of yourself. Thank you for watching. Stay calm, protect your peace, and remember, sometimes the loudest statement you'll ever make is the silence you choose to keep. See you in the next video.